I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Effort, I'm built for panel. Whoa, whoa. Effort, I'm built for panel. I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Effort, I'm built for panel. Whoa, whoa. Effort, I'm built for panel.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Between the Lines presented to you by Livewire Sports. Tonight on our show we have a very special guest, Mr. Mumba Rivera. Mumba, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. How you doing, man, Shaq?
Yeah, good, man. Glad to have you on the show. You ready for the show?
I'm ready, man. I'm nervous. I'm ready. I'm nervous, but ready.
I only need one thing from you during the show, okay? Now, your boy Tegan been on the show and he feel like he had the best show ever. So I need you to game one up him right now. Get on top now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I go one up E, man. I go one up E easy. There ain't no problem. Right. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about being a coach. What sports do you coach?
Coach basketball, 11th grade, 10th grade. So you could say 17U, 16U.
Now, when did you first get into coaching basketball?
First got into coaching, I want to say it was in 2012 after I retired from baseball. You know, I didn't really had anything to do, so I decided to volunteer coach at the rec center, you know, just helping kids, teaching kids the game of basketball. And then it kind of came in my head like, man, you know what? I might start getting to trouble basketball. So, you know, I could give kids from the Virgin Islands an opportunity to come up, you know, and maybe get into some good tournaments where, you know, college scouts, etc. is coming to, you know, so create that type of plug, you know, of Orlando to the Virgin Islands.
Now, how do you go from being a very good baseball player to a basketball coach? How does that translate?
Well, I mean, I played basketball growing up. So, you know, basketball always been in my blood, you know, and then I played baseball as well, too. So I played two sports, you know, at a high level, you know, I more love basketball. I enjoy basketball more than baseball. So after I finished baseball was history. No more baseball. I ain't trying to play it. I ain't picking on no bat or anything like that. I will help kids and teach kids the game, but, you know, that wasn't my first priority. It was more basketball, you know, and then my son started playing basketball. So it really, really got me into basketball, you know, full time pretty much.
Now, at what point did you realize that you could have a career around sports but not actually playing the sport anymore?
Repeat that again.
At what point did you realize that you could be around sports without actually playing? Like there's other opportunities in the sports world.
Man, it just happened. To be honest, it just happened. I didn't see myself like being involved in sports or anything like that. Just mostly for like kids from the Virgin Islands. You know, just any kid trying to get some information about baseball, teaching them, you know, giving pitching lessons, coming home, you know, doing camps and stuff like that. You know, that was about it. But I didn't see myself like being a coach and creating this plug, you know, until I actually got involved. Because every time I did something, I was always brainstorming. As a thinker, so I was always thinking. And then I always used to think about how I could, you know, help the kids in the VI. So that's how everything came about, you know. So
that's my favorite thing about coaches from the Virgin Islands. Like we always want to get our players to the next level, and the way that you're doing it is a step up from here. So we do have coaches here that are going to groom the players, but now you give them an outlet of somewhere to go, a safe haven in the States. So that's definitely a great job by you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You know, anything for the kids, man. Anything for the kids. You know, at the end of the day, we want the best opportunity for the kids. So,
all right. So you're not here in the Virgin Islands. So where are you located? Where do you coach?
I'm located in the Big O, Orlando, Florida. You know, Mickey Mouse. That's Tegan. Tegan said he want to come to the mouse area. So, you know, that's right there, the mouse.
Now, what is the level of competition like in Orlando? I know Florida have a lot of football players and stuff, but what is it like as far as basketball is concerned?
Man, the level is it's big time. It's big time. We got Mount Verde. We got just outside Orlando. They're like the #1 team in high school for the last few years. You have IMG, that's more towards Tampa. We have it have a couple more prep schools around the area. That's pretty good, man. Top notch, So the level of competition is unbelievable. I be going to the games. We also have a public school, Oak Ridge. They play they go and play Oak Hill, and they play some of the other top teams. Yeah, man. So it's top notch competition here. We have Dr. Phillips as well too. Then you have some teams south of Orlando, more going towards Fort Lauderdale. So the level is pretty high, man, intense. Oh yeah, we also have Orlando Christian Prep. That's in Orlando as well too. That kid Nazir Little, he's with the Portland Trail Blazers. He went to that school, and some other kids. So the level is pretty high level of competition.
Now, I know that's a high level because I hear a number of prep schools and academies that are just well known around the world, to be honest. So definitely that's a high level of competition there. And it's good to see like great players compete with each other at that level. I bet you it's really great for them to see each other again at the collegiate level and then in the NBA or further on. So it's just a big moment to grow with these kids, basically. So you're growing with them as a coach or as an opponent, you're growing with them as well. So it's a big thing to see kids build that friendship at that level and move on further into their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the good thing with sports, man. That's the good thing. And it happened in the Virgin Islands too. Is just like, that competition, man. That friendly competition. You motivate each other. You try and make each other better. So that you feel you lose at these, you lose to a certain team, and they motivate you to, you want to beat this team, or this player might have your number, and it's just like it forces you to work harder, and they just build that friendship, that friendly competition. And, you just grow with that person, and then you just live.
Definitely. Now, the thing that nobody really wants to talk about because it hurts all of us in different ways. How did COVID impact your season this year?
Man, it destroyed our season, man. This season, we our motto with our travel ball team is like we trying to get the kids that scholarship. It's not all about winning. It's just all about scholarships, trying to get the kids them noticed. So we had a lot of tournaments lined up to go to a lot of showcase where a lot of college coaches going to be at, so a lot of showcases, a lot of tournaments up in Atlanta. We were supposed to go to Vegas. We was thinking about going to Dallas too, but the COVID messed everything up, man. So we just mostly playing some local tournaments here and there. And it was hard for college scouts to recruiters to come out and watch the game. So it affected everything, man. And really, because I coach 11th grade, so they're going into this senior season. So this was an important year for them, so it was tough.
Now, I heard you say you're going to some different tournaments across the country. What states have you been to with this travel ball team so far?
So far, been to, Atlanta, been to North Carolina, been to Virginia, Alabama. That's about it. So, not too much.
Forgot. I don't think. Hey, that's still a good amount for a start, and you had some preparations to go other places. So I definitely know you're going to make your way across the country sooner or later.
No, yeah, definitely, man, definitely. That's the goal. One of the biggest tournaments is in Las Vegas. So that's our goal, man, to go to Las Vegas. Play against some of the top competition. Give the kids that experience and realize, like, it's competition all over the country, even all over the world. So it kind of motivates the kids to realize, like, man, I got to step my game up, etc. So, it's going to be fun.
Now, I want you to mention the name of that travel ball team because all the Virgin Islands want to keep a track of this team and track their progress as well. So can you give us the name of your travel ball team?
The travel ball team name is the Florida Sharks. Now,
do you have different divisions for this as far as maybe starting from 8 years old and going up?
No, we just do 10th grade, 11th grade. If we have enough kids, then we'll do 9th grade. But with me, being involved, I kind of rub shoulders with a lot of different coaches from a lot of different travel ball teams. So some organizations, they have from third grade all the way up to 10th grade, all the way up to 11th grade. So if if anybody needs a team, if it's a younger kid that maybe they can't fit on our team, I could move them over to a different team as well too. So. And that was one of the main things too. Just is as a coach, you just want to network. You want to build relationships with a lot of different organizations. You just never know, because sometimes you might not provide that opportunity for that kid, but somebody else could provide that opportunity.
And that's a way to build your resume as a coach as well. So you'll be able to help your players reach different networks, and you'll be able to help yourself reach different networks. Whether it comes to whether it is through trainings or maybe a bigger job opportunity. So you're building for yourself and the kids at the same time. Definitely.
That's true. And that's the number one goal, man. That's the number one goal.
So what is the ultimate goal for you and the players that you coach? Well, more so for the players that you coach. What do you want to get out of them as they move along?
The most important thing for us is teaching them how to be a good human being, a good person, a good young man. School come first. Make sure you always take care of your family. Take care of your friends. And then we trying to get scholarships. And then I always share my experiences in life with them. Sports is not the all for all. That's not the only thing in life. I always be honest with them that some kids might not make it. You might not make it past college, or you might not get a scholarship. But the most important thing is you want to have fun and you want to give 100%. All you could do is just give yourself an opportunity. That's all you could do. Just give yourself an opportunity. So.
Now, I know you've been away for a little while. Were you able to do any community events while you were at home so far?
I have done. Jamelia Henry invited me to St. Croix. I want to last year, and I did a baseball camp for the Little League East. So that's what I did so far, Little League East. And then throughout my professional career, I used to come down and I would train or work out, and I would help kids out as well too. But as far as after playing, that's the first one I did, the baseball camp, and then the COVID kind of messed everything up because it was supposed to be a yearly thing.
So no, I feel like this is a question that I shouldn't even have to ask you, because what you're doing already speaks for itself. But would you be interested in doing a clinic back home in the Virgin Islands?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the goal. That's the goal, to eventually do a clinic yearly. Every year is a clinic. And the clinic is free. It's for the kids. We just want to give the kids that confidence. We just want to let the kids know that there is people from back home, they could look up to. And, we just want to give back. We want to give back. Sports is important. Sports build confidence in a lot of people, so we just want to give the kids hope. Some kids, they see players on TV, they see LeBron James, they see, Damian Lillard, all these guys. Sometimes kids want to see their very own as well too. They want to see their very own, and that's the most important thing. They want to see athletes that could talk like them, look like them, eat the same food they eat, have a conversation with them. So
I think that's the biggest source of inspiration that we can give to our children of the Virgin Islands. If you make it somewhere, you don't have to be the best baseball player, the best basketball player, but you make it off of the island, and you can come back and just share these experiences with them so they can see, like you said, that we grew up in the same housing community, that we went to the same elementary schools. It gives them hope that, well, he was here once upon a time. I could do it too. My cousin can do it too. Or I just have to work a little bit harder so that I could make it. So seeing them come back and give back to your community is the biggest source of inspiration. Yeah, they might like to see Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, but at the end of the day, to touch flesh with somebody that personally have the same experiences as you would be the biggest teacher for them.
That is true. That's 100% correct, man. That's 100% correct. That's why it's so important. It's so important that Virgin Islands athletes always try to make it back home. It's easier said than done, but at the same time, even if they can't make it back home, at least do something. Be in contact with them some type of way. Provide some experience. Advice. If they're able to talk to the kids, they could do that too. I always communicate with the coaches back home, and let them know like, hey, I'm always here for the kids. If the kid needs somebody to talk to, I'm a phone call away. Even that will even, inspire kids as well too. So, and that's something I did, throughout my minor league season, playing baseball, is being in contact with some kids. My high school coach, Dean Haywood, he would man, Mumba, we have this kid, he could play baseball, man. You need to talk to him. And I would get his number, I would call him and we would talk. They needed baseballs, I sent baseballs. They needed gloves, I sent gloves. So, I did that, in that type of way too as well, and which, all athletes should be able to do that too, So there's a lot of different ways you could impact the kids, them, not just being there, but also from abroad.
And I think a lot of younger athletes who are like maybe the collegiate level, early pros, I don't think they don't fully understand the impact that they have. And I think that's on us as sports enthusiasts and coaches who coach them before, just put a little whisper in the air and provide them with the things that they can do. Like I said, it doesn't have to be monetarily, but just the impact you can have by shaking a hand. Like you never know what that can be. There's people who's been inspired by shaking Bill Clinton's hand, stuff like that. So it's like, if you shake this person's hand who grew up in the same neighborhood as you, that inspiration goes a long way. So I really try to preach that to younger athletes who are at the collegiate level, maybe early professional, that your impact is farther than you know. It's way bigger than you. A lot of people don't like to do interviews and stuff like that, or give back events, but your impact that you make, the impression that you make on that child is what really propels them forward. And you'll be happy to hear those stories 20 years down the line when you say, this person teach me how to bat, this person teach me how to tie my shoes, something simple like that. So it's something that we need to preach to our younger athletes as they mature and go through the college rankings and to the professional rankings as well.
That's true. That's true, man. That's true. That's true. Everything you say is 100% correct. 100% correct. Because at the end of the day, that's the satisfaction, we should all have, we should all have at the end of the day. So.
All right, let's jump into young Mumba now. Let's go a little bit back in the time capsule and find out a little bit about you when you were growing up. Now, I heard you say you played baseball and basketball. Was that the only two sports you played as a child?
I played baseball, basketball, and then just football in the projects. Growing up in the projects, we played football too. So baseball, basketball, football.
Okay. Now, where did you go to junior high and high school?
Junior high, we went to the infamous Arthur A. Richards Junior High School. So junior high school, middle school, they call it up here. So that's the school you hear a lot of stories of. So that's the school I went to, and then high school went to Barracuda's, man, educational complex.
No, when you were growing up, which was the first sport you played?
First sport I played growing up was basketball. I used to only play with my mother. Mm-hmm. And now I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. So that was the first sport I played.
Now, when did you get introduced to baseball? Because you had a lot of success in baseball. So to hear that basketball was your first sport is kind of a shocker. When did you get introduced to baseball?
Got introduced to baseball when I was 8 years old. I used to love watching baseball on TV. Basketball was I just played with my mom. That was it. I never played like outside with any of my friends, so that was the first sport I played, basketball. And she taught me the game of basketball, but I never really took it to the next level until later on. But baseball, 8 years old, I used to love baseball. Some of my guests I've had on the podcast, they talk about Atlanta Braves, same as me, Atlanta Braves. First home run I saw was Dale Murphy hit a home run. I was like, man, I want to play baseball. And I told my mother I want to play baseball. And then, she got me, she talked to G-Nix because we lived in the same project. And then that was it, baseball.
No, Mumba, you just hurt my heart just now. You mentioned the Braves. I ain't get over that game 7 last yet, so I don't know how to feel about this interview anymore. Braves, that hurt my heart.
I feel you, man. That hurt my heart too, man. Hurt my heart. Atlanta got a special place in my heart. So it hurt my heart. Same as yours, man. Tough. It's always tough,
Now, what was it like competing in the Virginals at the high school level in baseball and basketball?
So it's funny because I played baseball, Little League, and then when I got to, I want to say 13, 14, I went over to the other side. I went over to basketball. So high school, I played 1 or 2 years of high school baseball, and the level of competition was good. You had Terry Byron at St. Joseph, hard-throwing right-handed pitcher. You know, he got drafted by the Florida Marlins. You have Maki Rajas, my good friend, my former teammate in Little League. Big up to the Reds, Red Machine. He was at Central, Chogas too. So the level of competition was pretty good. You know, we had a good team. Saeed, we had Ryan Joseph. You know, we had some good players at the team. You know, Wang Bogos as well. Just some of the names I could remember on the top of my head. Jamal Young, Mitchell King. So
now, did you guys ever get to go over to St. Thomas to play the St. Thomas teams as well?
yes, we did. We went over, we played Charlotte Mali, and we got destroyed. Not even close. So it was no competition, man. It was no competition. So I took a lot of blows from St. Thomas in baseball, by the way, just to try that out, man. You know, I took a lot of blows. So
now, during your Little League years, were you ever able to make any All-Star teams?
yeah, I made All-Star team 4 years. 4 years, you know, went over to St. Thomas twice, you know, and played, you know, 9 to 10, and then, you know, made it when I was 9, made it when I was 10, 11, and 12. So, you know, fun times, man.
Now, I'm hoping you did, but did you guys get past St. Thomas and was ever able to make it to the Latin American tournament?
No. So 11 and 12 was when we was playing. They had the teams, you know, 11 and 12 together, and then 9 and 10 together. 9 and 10, even if you whoever won St. Thomas or St. Croix, you couldn't go to Latin American tournament. Only 11 to 12. So
right, correct.
Yeah, so I never made it. I came close my 12 when I was 12, but you know that game we ended up losing. We won the first game, and then St. Thomas won the second game, and then the third game it came down to we ended up playing a game, and then it was too dark, so we had to play the next day. We had to play the Monday, and it was a game and an early game, and St. Thomas ended up beating us 1-0 in the bottom of the sixth inning. Maki was pitching, I was catching. Maki threw a call ball. He had a run on tall base. It was 2 outs. And then we was playing at Pali Jose Stadium. So the plate they were using, they would put a plate on top of the on top of like the grass. So it wasn't a real plate. So it had like a little hump. And Maki threw a call ball and it hit in front of the plate. It jumped over the back fence. And that's how St. Thomas won the game. And that's how they ended up going to the Latin American tournament.
Wow, that's a heartbreaker right there, honestly. And it was no fault of the pitcher or yourself. It was just a field issue. But that's a crazy way to lose a baseball game. And I know at 12 years old, that hurts because you want to be able to represent your country by moving on. But it doesn't happen that way sometimes, honestly.
No, it doesn't happen that way, man. You know, it was funny because my good friend, they call him Meg, Tyrell Lake, amazing athlete, amazing baseball player. Amazing basketball player, one of the best defensive players. I just want to big him up real quick. Mm-hmm. You know, when we won the first game, we all live in the same project, so it was funny. We won the first game, so he would go around and say, we're going to Panama, because that's where Panama was the host country that time. And he was bragging, telling all our friends that played on the other teams. And so we going to Panama. And then when we lose, it was like, oh my God, it was the worst feeling, man. They was like, yeah, I'm going to Panama and St. Croix. So
hey, but it's good that he had confidence in his team like that to say, like, yeah, we're gonna win. So he had come from a good place, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Because think about it, 9 years old. I think
let's talk moving.
No, yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we're actually having a little bit of technical difficulties. You could go ahead and finish your answer, Mumba.
No, I was just gonna say because it was tough because you know every year we keep losing to RAC, so this is our last time. And this is our opportunity to actually travel. You know, and then that happened, man. Oh my God, it's the worst feeling ever. Even up to this day, you know, I went to G-Nick's funeral, and me and Maki was talking about it. We were still talking about it. You know, 30 years later, still talking about it.
One thing you never forget in sports is the way something made you feel. Okay. So if you get pegged by a ball when you were 6 years old, you can remember exactly where you get hit and how hard it hurt. Trust me, you don't forget nothing when it comes to sports.
That's true. That's one thing you will always remember too when you get hit by the ball. So
you get some people are just like ball magnets, like they have to get hit 3 times a game. I'm just tired of getting hit over and over and over.
I don't know how to do it, my son. I don't know how to do it. They're crazy.
My favorite thing to hear a coach say is, don't move all the way, get hit by the ball. And then the batter look at it, the coach like, you want me to get hit with a ball? It's hot. But it's the hilarious thing to see kids like reaction when the coach said, don't move all the way when the ball comes in.
Yeah, Shaq, I need to take this phone call real quick. It's important, if you don't mind.
All right, no problem. Actually, we'll go to a commercial right now, and we'll be back with more Between the Lines presented to you by Livewire Sports. All right, so maybe we won't go to a commercial right now.
I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for boundary. Oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for boundary. I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for boundary. Oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for boundary.
All right, and we are back with more Between the Lines presented to you by Livewire Sports. Our guest Mumba is still here with us. Mumba, you ready for the second half of the show?
Yeah. This is why I know. First of all, I want to apologize. Important phone call. You know, we have a tragedy in the family, so it's been hectic. So, but I'm nervous.
All right, definitely respect to you and your family. We had no problem taking a commercial break for you. We got people coming on, so we have to kind of work on your time, you know, and that's perfectly fine with us. But yeah, this is the part we want to get into. This is the interesting stuff right here. I like this part right here. So you need to not be nervous and be ready for these questions, all right?
Yeah, hey, I seen the show, so I know. You know, I'll be pulling out pictures and all kind of stuff from back in the day with athletes and all kind of stuff. So, oh my gosh, I just hope I ain't got nothing crazy.
All right, so let's talk about you playing in college. What college did you attend?
I went to a JUCO. Okay, I signed with Morris State University out of high school, but on a basketball scholarship. I ended up going to a JUCO. You know, I had a conversation with the coach, and we had a disagreement. You know, respectable disagreement. And I decided that I would go to a JUCO, and he found a JUCO for me, and I went to a JUCO, and that was in Iowa, Marshalltown, Iowa, the center of the state of Iowa.
Now, did you receive that basketball scholarship straight from Complex High School?
Yes, straight from Complex High School.
Wow. Now, how was that process of you being recruited to that school? Well, to the school.
It was a pretty easy process. You know, I had a pretty good high school career. You know, I did a lot of good things. And then Rashidi had the first Sunstroke, you know, basketball classic, the first ever, yep, of my junior year. And I had an amazing game, man. I was perfect from the field. I was perfect in everything, man. I had a great game, you know. I guess Anderson saw the tape, you know, and he was interested, you know, and then you know, Coffee, you know, as well too. So I ended up he came to watch me play a scrimmage at our high school, and then you know the process was easy after that. You know, I signed with them out of high school. So,
and I think that's a sign of great things that are able to come from just being able to have these athletes on tape, have something to give coaches that are tangible that you can give to them. They can see this athlete. A lot of student athletes are highly recommended, but at the end of the day, if you have never seen them play, it's pretty hard to judge that they are the right fit for your team. So definitely that shows that having an event like the Sunstroke Classic and film, that it can help you get to the next level, even from here in the Virgin Islands.
That is true. 100% correct, man. Film. That's one of the most important thing. Most important thing is film. If they can't see you in person, they want to have film. You know, they want to have film. So, like you said, Shaq, you 100% correct, man. So, and what you guys do is amazing. You know, you guys providing that for the kids, then, man, and that's, you know, you guys are ahead of your time. You guys don't know it, but you guys are ahead of your time. You guys are ahead of your time, man.
Definitely appreciate it. So now, how did you make your transition from playing basketball in college to baseball?
Okay, so this is I was gonna save this for, you know, when I do mine on my podcast, but I'll tell you is a quick story. So, we went to Walt Disney Wide World of Sports, RBI baseball, when I was in high school, and we had some players from St. Thomas and some players from St. Croix, you know, and you know Saro, Plaskett, I forget his first name. I want to say Aaron, I'm not sure. You know, and some other couple kids from St. Thomas, and then you had, you know, some guys from St. Croix, and we were playing the Puerto Rican team, and we was getting blown out, man. We was getting destroyed, and I was catching, and the reason why I was catching is because our catcher got hot, so I ended up catching. So I was like the backup catcher, and then they put me to pitch because we was losing, so we didn't want to use our good pitchers. You know, Saro was one of the best pitchers at the time. Magella Milligan as well too, Maji. You know, a couple of other guys with some good pitchers. So they just used me, you know. But I had a strong arm. And man, I was trying hard. But I wasn't throwing strikes, but I was trying hard. And then Saro came up to me and tell me, like, man, you know how hard you were throwing? You were throwing like 93, 92 miles an hour. You see all them scores by there with a gun? But I couldn't just strikes, and I was getting frustrated, and he kind of talked to me and then, you know, simming me down and stuff like that. So big ups to Saro about that. So fast forward to college. So now I got redshirted my freshman year in basketball in JUCO. And we was watching a baseball game. We was watching the Baltimore Orioles playing the New York Yankees. And my roommate, Lamont Keaton, big up to Lamont. He's from Baltimore, amazing point guard. We was watching the game, and I was like, man, he was like, man, those guys is throwing hard. And they was throwing like 92, 94 miles an hour. I was like, man, I could throw 90 miles an hour. That's easy. He went to tell the whole baseball team at the school. And then the next day, I went to the school in the morning because the athletes, you know, we eat breakfast and stuff like that. And the whole baseball team came out to me and was like, man, I heard you could pitch. I heard you could throw over 90 miles an hour and stuff like that. Next thing you know, the whole baseball team tell the coach looking for who is this Mumba Rivera, basketball player, could throw 90 miles an hour. Next thing you know, it had a cookout. And in JUCO, it's small. You know, some JUCOs is small, and Marshalltown was a small JUCO. The baseball program was just starting. The basketball program was okay. You know, softball program was just starting. And they had like a little cookout for the athletic department. So we are chilling there. The baseball team, the baseball team, the softball team, the men and the female basketball team, and maybe some other sports. I can't remember. And they was like, man, Mumba, you ready? I was like, ready for what? It was like, you gonna show us in front of coach. The baseball coach, it was Coach Benzing. That's his name. Much love to him too. So they brought out 2 gloves and 2 baseballs. And this kid named Michael Springsteen. It's crazy I can remember these names because these is people that, you know, they have impact in your life, so you kind of remember the name. So Michael Springsteen was like, Mumba, I'm gonna catch you. I was like, cool. So I start warming up, Shaq, warming up. And one thing with G-Nix, he used to always say, make sure you warm up properly. So I'm warming up properly. I taking my time. In my mind, I'm saying like, oh my God, what I get myself into, brother? This is crazy. I playing catch in front of the whole athletic department and stuff like that. Now, mind you, Shaq, I ain't play baseball like in about maybe 2-3 years, probably, maybe 2 years. So I'm like, this is crazy. So I just start throwing, and I just start throwing, man. And the coach was like, yeah, that's 90 or more. He was like, you have a call ball? I was like, yeah, I got a call ball. I actually had a good call ball too. And I started trying to call ball. And he was like, man, he was like, you need to come out. You need to come out. And then they had like a scout day. You know, in Iowa, every JUCO to have a scout day where they invite scouts to watch the talent for the teams. And then they had a scout day. But the scout day ended up getting snow out. So I didn't get to perform in front of the scouts. So long story short, I ended up playing on the baseball team. The first season, played. I got drafted my first year. I pitched a total of 70 innings, and I got drafted off of potential and my athletic ability and my arm.
Now, what round did you get drafted in? I know you can remember that. That's something you would never forget.
Yeah. I got drafted in the 28th round by the Tampa Bay Rays. Before they was called the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, but they changed the name to the Tampa Bay Rays. But Tampa Bay Devil Rays, 28th round.
So that means you're playing for for the Rays in the World Series then. You have to. Right.
No. We're going for the Dodgers West Side. We're going for LA.
Now, what was the process like for you being drafted? What was that feeling like when you got that text or you saw your name go across the screen?
Okay, so Shaq, this is how it is, right? This is crazy. When I didn't know I was gonna get drafted. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about it, because I just played. You know, I just played because because I couldn't play basketball. I was redshirted. I was upset about that, so I was just playing baseball. I was like, man, I'm gonna just play. You know, I played, and then I'm home, living LaGrange home, actually chilling in my room, and one of my teammates from Iowa called me and said, Mumba, you got drafted. Wow. Then the school called me and said, hey, you got drafted. And it was like, I want to say I was the first player to get drafted out of Marshalltown Community College, the college itself. Wow. We had a player that was drafted, but he was drafted out of high school. So I was actually the first player out of that college to get drafted. And then the scout came and be like, hey, I know you probably heard the news. You got drafted. I just let you know, we're not going to sign you. You're a draft and follow. We like what we saw. This is your first time ever pitching, really. You're raw. You have a lot of talent. You're athletic. You're lanky. You're tall. We just want to build up some more arm strength and get you more familiar with pitching. So we want to get you more innings, and then we'll take it from there. So that's how I found out. I was just home chilling, watching TV, and receive some calls.
That's some stuff that you can't make up. Like, you basically, I wouldn't say gave up on baseball, but you stopped playing baseball, and basically, again, we talk about being recommended as a player. You basically got recommended by one player that moved on to the entire team, that went on to the coach, that got you on the field to play, that got you drafted. So that's an amazing way of networking right there in its own, altogether.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. I think about it all the time, man. And that's, we talk about it, man. That's the good thing about sports, because if those guys felt like I was a threat and they didn't want me and the team, then that would have never happened, but it was, I went to Iowa and it was all love, man. It was all love. I never expressed no type of racism or anything like that. I was the only black baseball player on the team. I was the only black baseball player in the conference, so it was something different, but I got bad love from the teammates, man, and they looked out for me, and they treated me well. So, and I did what I had to do.
So now, with you not being signed and they said you are draft and follow, what was your next step after that?
So the next step was after Iowa. When I went home, I was like, man, I don't really want to go back to Iowa. I want to go to Florida and play, and then just play baseball in Florida. But it was kind of like, man, the coach, really looked out for me. The players really looked out for me. So I was like, you know what, man, they was honorable to me, so I'm gonna be honorable to them, and I'll go back. I'll go back to Iowa, man. I owe it to them. They created an opportunity for me, that could change my life, which it did. And I said, you know what, I'm going back to Iowa. I'm gonna deal with the snow. I'm gonna deal with the 13 degrees, pitching at 13 degrees and all kind of crazy stuff. So I'm gonna deal with all of that again. And I went back, and I had an amazing season until fooling around and messed up my ankle.
Wow. Listen, I applaud you for pitching in that weather, okay? I played a season as well at Juco Ball in Minnesota. And
my God.
I went to warm up in the bullpen a day, and I was ready to pitch now. And then we were batting, so I was in the bullpen warming up, and our team was batting, and this was the best inning of our life all of a sudden. So I was in the bullpen game, warm up, I throw a couple of pitches, come back in the dugout to sit down. So I say, okay, when we get this last out, I'll go on the mound and pitch, right? This is my first time pitching in college. And we bat around one time, and we bat halfway around the second time. So I in this sitting in the dugout for about 30 minutes, just sitting down here cold. The coach said, Shaq, you ready to go? And I just did in my long sleeve, my jacket on, and say, Coach, not today. Gotta be another day, not today. It was too cold for me to go out there to pitch in that degree weather. So I applaud you for pitching in 13 degrees. I was not doing it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I didn't know, man. You see, that's why we have to have you on the show too, man. I got to hear about your baseball story, man. I got to hear about it, So that's definitely so we got to work on, Shaq. We got to work on that.
We can definitely do
that. We got to hear about you in Minnesota. That's higher than that's right above Iowa. So
definitely.
Yeah, so definitely, man. So so
let's talk about now you moving on to another college. So you didn't stay in Iowa, you moved on to another college. Which college was that?
I went to Bethune-Cookman College. I didn't sign, because I messed up my ankle fooling around in the door you could call it wasn't really dorms, but it was more housing apartments. And I messed up my ankle fooling around. And long story short, they gave an offer to me, and I didn't, it wasn't good enough for me. And but the scout was honest with me. He was like, hey, we don't sign damaged goods. So, this is the offer, take it or leave it. I was like, nah, I'm gonna just go back to school. So I ended up going to Bethune-Cookman, and Bethune-Cookman saw me pitching in a showcase. And the funny thing is, Shaq, is that I was already drafted, and I already had my mind that I was going to sign because I had an amazing season. My second season was amazing. And the coach was like, man, Mumba, just go, hang out with the guys, and if you pitch, just don't hurt yourself. Be careful, because I know, you're a draft and follow, and Tampa Bay is real strict about that, So I went, and one of the pitching coach saw me from Cookman. He told George Bailey. George Bailey was at Cookman. And then George Bailey called me, and we talked, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to, I'll sign with Cookman. That's no problem. I like what you signed, Bailey, long story short. So, but in my mind, I know I was going to sign, but I didn't end up signing. And then it had a few schools that wanted me, a lot of top-notch Division I school, University of Iowa. Iowa State didn't have a baseball team. That I don't know if they have a baseball team. Minnesota, Missouri, Miami was kind of interesting. It was an iffy. Florida State, a lot of teams. But I talked to Bailey, and I told Bailey, like, yeah, I'm going to go to Cookman. And I know George Bailey, that's somebody I looked up to. And I gave him my word. And with me, once I give you my word, I just can't, it's just not in me to go back on my word. So I say, you know what? I'm going to go to Cookman. I'm still in Florida. They play Miami, they play Florida State, they play Florida. So I have a chance to play against them. So I ended up going to Cookman, and that's how I got to Cookman.
Well, I'm just glad you get out to the cold weather and come down to the warmer side of the world.
Me too.
Now, what was the experience like at HBCU?
Man, coming from Iowa, our white school, they're going to Bethune-Cookman, our black school. it was just different, man. You know, they take pride. That's one thing about the MIAC and HBCU. They take pride in their schools, man. They take pride. They sing fight songs. They do all that stuff, and they be shouting and screaming and stuff like that. That's not in my character. That's only my character when I'm playing sports. Once I'm outside sports, I'm the most resolved, chill human being on the face of the earth. So that's not my style, but it was different. I loved it, and it was a great environment, man. Like you said, the warm weather, Daytona Beach. You got spring break, you got bike week, you got BCR, you got all that stuff. So it was a great feeling. It was a little culture shock. It was just different. I seen guys riding motorcycle, going to walk in suits and 3-piece suits and all that kind of stuff. I was like, man, this is crazy. So, I was loving it.
Congratulate you for going to the second best HBCU in the world.
No,
the number one is North Carolina A&T State University. Never forget that, okay?
Come on, man. Shaq, you can't do that, man. Big up to North Carolina A&T State. So.
I don't always harass people when they come on this show about the HBCU they went to, but really and truly, it's us against the wall at that moment. It's all HBCUs against everybody else, I feel like. So the experience that we share at A&T and at Bethune-Cookman is mostly the same experience. And at the end of the day, it's us, the black colleges, kind of not against, but pushing back against the PWIs, because at the end of the day, this was the only place we could have went to school back in the days, like black institutions. So I love the support we get when people go to those black institutions and learn about the heritage, learn about the stuff that actually happened back in our times, why we couldn't go to those schools, why we should be proud to go to those schools now. So again, I'm not knocking anybody for choosing a PWI, but I just love to hear the experience people have when they go to historically black colleges.
You absolutely 100% correct, Shaq. You 100% correct, because when I look back, I'm glad I went to Bethune-Cookman. And if I knew what I know now, I would never ever be inspired to go to like a top-notch Division I school. Like I would go to a HBCU, definitely. I definitely go to a HBCU.
The feeling of family is just there. Like they care about you. They really do care about you at HBCU, and that's what you get when you go there. The PWIs now, with the bigger schools especially, now they care about you to a certain extent. I'm not saying that they do not, but the love and the culture and the family atmosphere that you feel at HBCU is unmatched. Unmatched. It's personal. You get to actually know your teachers. You don't have to sit in classrooms with 70 and 80 children. You get to maybe a 20 or 25, a smaller setting that lets you interact with your teachers as well as your classmates. So it's definitely a personal situation when you go to a HBCU.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Did you play baseball at A&T too?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
Our baseball team was pretty good in my times, and I kind of gave up on baseball a while ago. And I actually used my college experience with playing sports in college to get me education. When I got into college and I stopped playing sports, I decided, well, now is the time. Let me just take advantage of the fact that I already had. So that was my thing. And I think a lot of kids need to get that as well. Let sports take you as far as it can take you, and then take control of your life at that moment. So if you decide that you don't want to play sports anymore in college, that's fine. Once you get a scholarship and you ease some money off of your parents maybe or yourself, if you decide you don't want to play sports anymore, get your education while you're still there. Play sports, hold on to sports as long as you can, just to get that education.
That is true. That is true. And that should be the number one reason, kids going into college, to get that free education, man. It's free. You might spend a little bit of money here and there, but like you said, man, take some pressure off of your parents, man. It's free money, man. It's a free education. Take advantage of it, So
I think that's one of the things I always tell children that are approaching college, especially on scholarships. You have to use them the way they're going to use you. They're going to use you to bring in money. They're going to use you to bring in fans. They're going to use you to better their name with their sports athletic department. Use them back. Take the money they're giving you. Take the scholarship. Use it. So it's a give and take situation. Don't let them take everything from you, and you don't take something back from them. That's my approach for children.
Shaq, you can't say any better than how you say it. They use you, so you use them. You can't say any better than how you just said it. 100%.
All right, so let's jump back into your playing days at Bethune-Cookman. Were you able to have any significant stat games or great accomplishments while you were there?
Yeah, I had some my junior year I had some great accomplishments, man. All the top Division 1 schools in Florida that I faced, um University of South Florida, Florida Gators, UC. No, I didn't pitch against UCF. FIU and FAU. All those teams top notch. That was all my best games. 7+ innings. You know, had the W in all those games, and then the bullpen gave up some of them. But that was my best performances, man. And it was just amazing. Just the fact that when I grew up, I used to grow up watching college baseball too, man. Miami Hurricanes was my team, so just got a chance to be in the state of Florida and pitching against some of Gators and Seminoles and those guys, man. It was like a dream come true, man. It was a dream come true, and I loved every minute of it, man. Loved every minute of it.
Right now, you're looking to be my favorite guest that ever been on this show.
For sure.
Love the Hurricanes too. I love the Braves. We here.
Shaq, you don't know, man. We connected. We connected from a distance. We have a lot of things in common, man. We have a lot of things in common. So you don't know how it is.
Now, how was the minor league experience? I know we had a lot of bus riding and those kind of stuff. How was that experience for you?
Man, it was an amazing and it was a crazy experience at the same time. With me personally, when I'm doing something, I kind of live in the moment, and I try not to get too far ahead, especially when I was playing minor league baseball. I just lived in the moment, and got drafted. They sent me all the way my first year. I got drafted in 2004, and they sent me by Seattle Mariners. I got drafted. They sent me all the way to Everett, Washington. They sent me.
Way out west.
Yeah, so not west. Not Everett was a nice place, nice weather, rain a lot, but it was nice. But then we play like Tri-Cities and Yakima, where it's 110 degrees. Those is like the deserts. Those is like the deserts in Washington. Spokane. So some of the places, man, and it was long bus rides, 12-hour bus rides, 15-hour bus rides. I'm 6'5", just imagine me sitting on those buses, man. Just a long bus ride, man. So it was tough, man. So my first year, it was more of a shell shock. It was just me kind of like, just getting in and, taking that opportunity, man. So first year it was different than first year.
What was your mentality at the moment where you realized that I'm a professional baseball player? I get paid to do what children do. How was that for you?
It was good and it was bad. I'll tell you this. So it's not like this now, but when I was playing, I got sent to Shot A. Minor league. So it was Shot A season. So the season starts right after the major league draft. And that's more for like the college players that get drafted, they send it to Shot A. And your salary was $850 a month, Shaq. Think about that. $850 a month. So you bank and your signing bonus. Wherever you sign for, that's the money you get up front. It depends how large your signing bonus is. You could split it up. You get half now, half later, etc. So I sign, and then that's everybody salary though. That's the minor league salary. As a college player, your salary is set the same for each level. So that was the salary, $850. We had host families. So I had a host family. So that was funny. So that was kind of the downside of it, but the good side was just coming out and playing baseball, man. You wake up in the morning, you just chill, you can play video game, you watch TV, you do whatever you want to do. Pitchers have to report to the field if you home, report to the field at around like 2:15, 2:45. And you go out and you run, you play catch, and you gotta be independent. You got a strength and conditioning coach. You go through some exercises here and there. But then you go out, you shack BP, you chill. The other team come, you just chill in the locker room, in the clubhouse. You do whatever you do. You're on your phone. You play cards. You play domino, and then you just wait for the game. And then I was a relief pitcher, so I just chill in the bullpen. You talk all kind of nonsense with guys. You play all kind of games, silly stuff. You crack jokes. You watch the game, and you just chill. And you get paid to do that. And that was it. And you just get ready to pitch. So that was the life, man. So that's the good thing about, so you got the good and the bad that first year.
So were you able to make it past the Short A team and make it up the ladder a little bit?
Yeah, so that first year, I started out as a relief pitcher. And then I ended up being a starter because one of the players them got hurt, and then another player got moved out, so they turned me into a starter. I had a great season, man. I had a great shot this season. My final year in college was a disaster. It wasn't a good year, but coming in, I had a great year. I made the All-Star team, the Northwest All-Star team. It was the 50th anniversary. I got a baseball bat with my name on it and everything. They only did the All-Star event like certain occasions, So it wasn't like an every year thing. So it was good to make the All-Star team, man, and it was amazing. Fly a real funny story. Flying from the All-Star game back to Everett, we was on a plane and our plane got hit by lightning.
Whoa.
Yeah. Got hit by lightning. Crazy. Pilot was like, man, guys, that loud bang was we just got hit by lightning, but don't worry, guys, we are good. We are good.
I don't know how you tell somebody that and then you say, don't worry right after. That probably had to be the scary plane ride for the rest of the ride back home. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh my God. I said so much prayers. Oh my gosh. I said my prayer in Spanish. I said it in English. I said it in Taiwanese. I said it in all kind of language. Shock. Trust me. I was scared.
So what was the highest level you were able to make it through in the minor leagues?
Made it to AAA. 2 different seasons made it to AAA. My first year made it to AAA. I was on the up and up. The director of minor league operations, I won't call his name because he told me something I'm gonna say here, but I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't want to get him in trouble, just in case. You never know. Definitely. But I had an amazing season, Shock, man. In AA, got moved up to AAA. And before I got moved up, he came to me and he was my short season A coach, and we had a great relationship. He liked my attitude. He liked my determination. He liked my intensity. He just liked that about me. It kind of reminded him about him as a manager. It was weird, So I was a leader and he loved that about me, man. So he always looked out for me. He took good care of me in the minor leagues. He kept it honest with me. And that's the most important thing with me is just honesty with coaches. And he kept it honest with me. And he told me, he said, Mumba, man, he told me straight up, he was like, man, Mumba, you finally did it, man. You're on your way. Most likely you'll be called up in September. That's what he told me straight up. He looked me in the eye and he told me that. He shake my hand. And that's one thing about him. He will look you in the eye and he will tell you the truth. He shook my hand and he just told me, man, Mumba, I'm proud of you, man. And don't lose it. Don't lose it. And that's what he told me. So I went up to AAA that year. I ended up getting hurt, man. So that opportunity got lost, making it to the major leagues that year. So I got hurt that year, but I tell you one thing about AAA. AAA is like those guys say it's like the major leagues. It's just the salary is different. And Shaq is true. We fly everywhere. All the stadiums, and I was on the West Coast, so I was in the Pacific Coast League, and we were playing Memphis, Nashville, Albuquerque, New Orleans, Round Rock, Sacramento, Fresno, Portland. So you playing in places that has professional basketball team or football team that doesn't have a baseball team. So you go into some nice, good cities. You stay in some 5-star hotels. You get to the hotel and people is standing in front of the hotel wanting your autograph and stuff like that. So Shaq, that was kind of crazy to me when I got to AAA about that. It was weird.
Now, with you making it all up the trip to the AAA level right before the majors, who are some of the players that passed through that played on your teams? Some of the great players that you can remember.
Okay, I played with Matu Yasosopo. His dad played for the Raiders. I want to say when they won the championship, he was like the backup quarterback. Matu Yasosopo. I played with Adam Jones. We played with the Baltimore Orioles, and he went to the Diamondbacks. Pretty good player, made an All-Star a couple of years. I played with a pitcher, Michael Pineda. He was with the Yankees, but no, he's with the Twins. I played with Asdrubal Cabrera. I can't remember what team he played with now, but he was with the Mets. He played with Tampa Bay. He was with Cleveland. I played with Mark Lowe. He was my roommate in Everett. He pitched for the Rangers, and he pitched for the Mariners. I don't know what he's doing now. And that's some of the players off the top of my head that I played with that was pretty good. I played with Eric O'Flaherty. He played with the Braves, lefty. He got hurt, back issues. So I played with him too. I want to say with the Mariners. I'm some of the guys, Rob Johnson, he made it to the major leagues too as well. But those names are some of the household names that I play with, that I actually play with that was on my team.
And even you're gonna remember the ones that you play with, but sometimes you won't remember the ones that you played against. So with you playing at the AAA level, I'm sure there's a lot of current or former MLB players that you did play with that you might not remember their names, but that's just a great level of talent right there. You play them before they reach their final form sometimes, but that might be a good thing too.
No, yeah, it's true, it's true. I'll tell you who I played against. He plays on the Braves, Freeman.
Wow.
Freddie Freeman. I played against Freddie Freeman, and I played against Black outfielder. He's with the Cubs. He used to be with the Braves. Lefty, center fielder.
Haywood.
Haywood. I played against him too. Him and Freddie Freeman was with the Braves together in Double A, and I played against them. So
that's amazing talent to have your name mentioned with, to compete against and to play alongside. So definitely a big accomplishment for you in that aspect. Was there any time you thought that I'm done with baseball, I don't want to play baseball anymore, I quit? Was there any time you felt that way?
I never really felt that way until my last season. That's when I felt that way.
No, but how many years did you play in the minors?
I played 7 years. I played 7 years with the minors. I played 7 years in the minors, and then I played 6 years with the Mariners. And a real quick story: the same director of minor league operations. Mm-hmm. My last year in AAA, I had an amazing year, shot. Amazing year. My velocity was at 95 to 98 miles an hour on a daily basis. Ooh. You know, I worked with Jamie Navarro. They got me into AAA, and I was working with him, and he got me right, man. And I finally felt like okay, it's here. I got it. I'm good. Mariners, I always wanted my velocity to be at that. It was at that 95, 98 on a daily basis. And then after the season, I had a great season. So I signed a free agent contract with the Mariners. I signed a contract with them. You know, the director of minor league operations. Me and him talk on the phone. I didn't use my agent. Me and him talk mano a mano. We signed. And then they end up they had new GM, you know, so new GM, new manager, so they wipe out the system and stuff like that. Wow. Excuse me.
That's tough.
But he was still there. And so with the Mariners in AAA, that season, the 2011 season, the manager and the GM, they wanted all pitchers in AAA to have major league experience.
Right.
They didn't want any pitchers with no major league experience because they felt like they was going to fight for a pennant. So if anybody get hurt, they wanted to break somebody up who have major league experience. So me and him talked in the office, and we talked, and that's to show how good he was to me, Shaq. He didn't want me to go to Double A. He wanted me to be in AAA or find another team or go to independent baseball and be open to all major league teams to give me the best opportunity possible. So even after I wasn't making the AAA roster. So that was about 2 weeks because they already had the roster set. So if I'm not making the AAA roster and they're not going to send me down to Double A, they're going to release me. They're going to let me go. But he let me stay in Arizona. I stayed in Arizona. I still come to the field, stay workout. He was making calls, trying to get me on some other major league team, not major league team, but professional teams. But the problem is it was too late because everybody was fixing their roster. Right. You know, so it was tough, but he still looked out for me. And me and him sit in his office, and he chat, and we talk like grown men. And he was like, "Man, Mumba, I think the best bet is to go to independent ball and be open to all teams, man." And I had an option to go to Ottawa in Canada or go to Camden, New Jersey in the independent league. I can't remember the name of the league, but it's the top independent baseball league where a lot of players get signed out. So that's how I end up there.
Thinking is the Atlantic, but I ain't sure.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, the Atlantic League or something like that.
That's a great thing that he went beyond his job title to actually connect with you as a person. It doesn't sound like it was about being a baseball player anymore. It was an actual connection between you and him. And that goes a little bit further than just the love of sports. That's the love of human beings, honestly. So I'm definitely glad he stick with you in that situation and tried to help you as much as possible.
Yeah, you're right, man. Shock, man. He was good to me. You know, we talk once in a while now. He manages a major league team right now. He's a bench coach. His name being involved with some of the major league teams. You know, who've been looking for some coaches. So, you know, he always like, you know, if you need Mumba, if you need a job in baseball, just let me know. You know, I got you and stuff like that. You know, and it's been like that with a lot of coaches too, Shock. You know, I have had some great relationships with a lot of my coaches because you know, with me, it's all about honesty, man. You know, it was all about honesty and the best interest for myself, you know. So, you know,
And
they, a lot of them look out for me
speaks of
even up to
you,
this day.
that speaks of you as a person that a number of people will try to reach out to you or still help you in situations where all hope might be lost. But that speaks to you as a person of who you are and what you represent, that they are still able to or attempt to reach out to you and help you in any situation that you had needed back in those days.
Yeah, man. It's true. It's true, you know. Because that's the most important thing, man. When you go and play professional baseball and stuff like that, you know, for me, I just ain't the KISS ASS type guy, you know. I want them to appreciate me as who I am as a human being. You know,
Yeah,
appreciate me for who I am before you appreciate me as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Because I can only play baseball for so long, you know, but I'm always be who I am at the until you know my last days. You know, so that's what it was all about. You know, me and a lot of my coaches, we bumped heads, but we each of my coach we had that man to man talk. You know, tell them how I feel, and you know they tell me how they feel, you know, and that's what it's all about. You know, I always had respect for all my coaches, but I wanted to make sure they respected me too, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm a man, but they older than me, but we are men, you know,
definitely.
so that's the most important thing, you know.
Now, with you being a Virginal and you came from right here, you were right here in these Virginals and were able to make it to the professional rankings. Do you feel we have a lot of athletes that are here that can make it to the collegiate and professional rankings?
Yeah, 100% shot, 100%, because I made it out with the AAA pitching. And I played, and we had guys like Rudolph Simmons. I mean, Marquis played, you know, played professional baseball too, and he had his, you know, situations and stuff like that. Terry Byron, he got hurt, but we had a lot more players that just didn't have the opportunity. And they was way better baseball players than me. They was way better pitchers than me, you know. And my experiences playing the game, playing professionally, the most, I think, what needs to happen back home is that once we identify a player that we got to identify their strengths, and we have to we have to accommodate their strengths. So if you have a pitcher that has a good arm, that should be the main focus for that player, to be a pitcher. Don't overwork him. Don't have him pitching all day, but that should be his main focus. Main focus of pitching and taking care of his body, swimming, exercising, doing dumbbells, running miles, focusing on location, change of speed, start learning the importance of pitching. They could still play shortstop, first base, outfield, and stuff like that. But their number one priority is going to be a pitcher because that's where they're going to be at that level. So if we could focus on finding their strengths in athletes, same thing with a basketball player. If you have a point guard that is 5'10", 6'1", we can't worry about him scoring 40 points and stuff like that. Yeah, that's good and dandy. But when he goes to college, Shaq, or if he goes to you know, the NBA or professional, he's gonna be a point guard. He's gonna be a facilitator. So he has to be able to hit the outside shot. He has to be able to be a leader. He has to be able to know all the plays. You have to be able to direct his team. So we have to own in on that from the high school level and younger. So they have that strength. So when they go to college, then it's not going to be, it's like second nature, you know? So, and we have all the athletes. We just have to identify their strengths and weaknesses and just, you know, and be able to find it out. And another thing, Shaq, too, the coaches them has to come together. It's cool to have that animosity and playing against each other and have that rivalry. We need the rivalry, but at the same time, we have to take time out and make sure we have like clinics and just like Virgin Islands showcase and bringing all the islands together. Maybe doing it at St. Thomas where we have like a clinic for the weekend, or doing it at St. Croix, have it for a weekend, or you know, at St. Croix they have clinics, at St. Croix they have clinics at St. Thomas where all the coaches come together and bump their heads and learn off of each other, and all the kids then get to mingle with each other. Because the big thing about being an athlete too, sometimes you learn, the most you learn is from other players. learning from other players, So we need to start doing that more, just coming together and be together as one, just to help all the kids them out, man. I think that would definitely help all the kids, because we have, like you said, we have all the talent, Shaq. We have it. We just gotta find it,
Now, were you ever able to play for the national team in the Virgin Islands?
No, I never played for them. Never got a phone call. Never got contacted or anything like that. The only people that ever contacted me was Jamelia Henry, Renice, James, big up to Renice, G Nix and Haywood, if they ever needed anything, that's the only people that ever contacted me when it came to baseball,
With this great career that you had, what was the biggest accomplishment you had as a player?
The biggest accomplishment I had as a player was doing charity work. Honestly, doing charity work. I was a 2-time Seattle winner for man, I can't remember the name. I want to say Greg Ellis Award. It's in my garage, the awards, but it's just charity work. I did a lot of baseball camps, free baseball camps when I was in the minor league system, going to schools, talking to kids, going to the schools. They have a guest speaker for lunchtime, and that's me talking to kids at schools, going to hospitals, going to schools, talking to like the more of the less fortunate kids that has trouble reading or writing and stuff like that. So I did a lot of charity work, man, all my years, man. I did a lot, so that's my greatest accomplishment, just being acknowledged, being awarded by Seattle, and myself and another guy named Rich Dorman, and he was one of my teammates and friend, our roommates. We're the only two-time winners for the Seattle Mariners for that charity award. So that's my biggest accomplishment, And Shaq, I got that motivation because when I got to the minor leagues, I realized, like, man, we have so much talent, man. Some more kids need. I wish these kids back home could have the opportunity. So it made me give back to kids, and then I just started from there,
And that's what it's about, using your platform to affect a community, whether it's your own community, which is here in the Virgin Islands, or there in Seattle, which was your temporary community. So you made an impact in that community, and that's what it's about, using your platform again to provide hope, to make people feel better. Going to hospitals, some people don't make it out of hospital, so seeing a face like you is something that's inspiring for them. So definitely that's a big accomplishment for you, to be doing some of those stuff in your own community here, as well as away in a temporary community like the Washington area.
100%, Sean. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You mentioned hospitals, and that was the toughest. Because sometimes you go there and you got kids with like leukemia and cancer, and they're waiting for a transplant and stuff like that, and you just never know, you never know if they're gonna make it. And it's like their parents like, oh, we have a professional baseball player, and they're so excited and they have all that energy, and they're laying in bed and all they want to do is just play catch with you. They just want to sit and talk to you. Some kids just don't have the ability to play sports. So it's like, man, I'm healthy. I have the ability to play sports. These kids wish they could play sports, so it kind of like really, really touched my heart, man. It really touched my heart. So, I have a special place in my heart for kids, man. I have a special place in my heart for kids, man. Especially kids who just don't have the opportunity to play, for whatever reasons, man. So it really touched my heart, man. So.
No, what was your best stat line for a game of all time?
Shaq, that's a good question, man. Shaq, you put me on the spot now, man. You put me on the spot now. I would say I pitched a complete game in High A against the High Desert. Damn, what's the name? High Desert. It was High A, and I pitched, and it was they had maybe 4 or 5 players that made it to the major leagues that year, and I pitched a complete game. I think like a 2-hitter, and I gave up 1 run, and it was a home run. I think that was my best stat line game. I didn't walk that year. I had a lot of trouble walking people, but I didn't walk anybody that game. I just gave up a solo home run, but that was my best. That was my best, man. I would say, yeah.
All right, that's
put me on the spot on that one.
That's not really a slouch game there, so that's definitely something to be proud of.
Yeah.
So don't try and mention that like it wasn't something slight, like that was a walk in the yard, all right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're actually going to take a quick break and get back to our best segment we have here on the show, okay? A very short break.
God. Oh, gosh.
Presented to you by Live Wire Sports.
I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa, effort, I'm built for pondering. Whoa, whoa, effort, I'm built for pondering.
All right, we're back with more Between the Lines presented to you by Live Wire Sports. Mumba, you're still here with us, right?
Yeah, man, I'm still here, man. I'm still here. You know, enjoying myself.
You made it past the interview segment. Now we're going to get into some more interactive stuff. Yeah, you look like you got to get ready for this one. Get ready for you because I'm the judge and the jury of this segment, and I don't tend to be too nice sometimes. So
I've seen that. I've seen it.
So this one is called A Few of My Favorite Things. All right. So I'm going to ask you about an item, and you can tell me your favorite item of that sort. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Your favorite color?
Black.
You can't go wrong with black. I think you just cheat. You can't go wrong with black. So
okay, red. I pick red.
I tell you, we get something in the moment. We right here. Telling you.
I tell you, man.
Favorite athlete?
Kobe Bryant.
Okay. Now, why Kobe Bryant?
His determination. I think his attitude, the way he approached the game, is the same way how I approached it. You know, that's one thing I took from Kobe. It's just his mental. Well, I mean, that's how I was. So that's what attracted me to Kobe. You know, and I just took it to another level. You know, I always admire the way how he approached the game.
Favorite musical artist?
Man, Tupac, Bob Marley. I keep.
Hey, that's two really good ones right there.
All day, every day, Shaq. Up to this day, I listen to Bob Marley every time I go to work, and I listen to Tupac when I come home for work.
Listen, his music will never die. His original music will never die, and then the fact that a lot of people sample his music now is gonna have his legacy going on forever.
True that.
Your favorite hobby besides sports? Pressure.
I can't say coaching, right? I gotta say something else.
Nah, you can't say coaching. That's a cheat.
All right, so I don't do it anymore. Oh my gosh, Shaq. Jeez, I think because what else I do, man? I don't really okay. One of my favorite hobby I used to do was play chess and dominoes. Those two.
Okay, I could take that.
Yeah.
That's like dominoes are a sport, so I don't really know if that count, but
Okay,
dominoes
chess.
is chess. I'll
Chess.
take chess.
Yeah.
You know that they classify chess as a sport too.
Okay. I do I won't say I read. I do a lot of research. I research a lot. I read up on a lot of different things. I like knowledge, so I research a lot. That's something I actually do on a daily basis. I always research, read up on stuff. You know what's going on in the world. I read up on it, study it. You know.
I'm like one of those people that watch a movie and when you hear something interesting, you gotta pause the movie to go check on what really happened.
That's me.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Favorite academic subject?
History. I was great in math, but history. I love history.
That lines up with the whole research thing that you just talked about, so I can understand that. Favorite sports team?
Oh my gosh, Shaq.
Go ahead. Pressure.
I gotta say Atlanta Braves, man. They're not my favorite sports team now, but they made me who I am today. Atlanta Braves.
They
Atlanta Braves.
right now either. So they're on the back burner for the rest of this World Series. They're on the back burner for me, man. Favorite food?
Big macaroni.
Big macaroni.
All day, every day.
Original. Yeah. What you eating a Big Mac with though?
Conch.
Stuffing. Right. No Big Mac with anything. It don't even make a difference.
Yeah, anything. Love it.
Favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans.
Classic. It
goes hits different. It hits you different.
The story itself, and then the coach on top of the story, just great altogether.
Yeah.
Like that whole time of racism and segregation, and you put together two different sets of people, and you lead them. And at that point, he was the minority. So for him to be the person that took that role on to say, yeah, I'm going to bring this community together, is a big thing for him. And he's a legendary coach. So he definitely made that movie what it is. And it was a great movie altogether. And you have Denzel Washington. So
facts.
Denzel
is the man. He's the man.
Favorite sports moment, not of yours, but any moment that will happen in sports history.
I gotta say, when the Braves finally won the World Series, you remember that they beat who did? They beat Cleveland Indians, Game 7.
I didn't get to see it. I was really young at that time, but I do know of them winning the World Series back then. But I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. I wish I would have get to see this week coming up, but clearly not. Gotta wait another year at least.
Yeah, because they used to keep going to the World Series and keep losing, and then they finally won. So I gotta say that, man.
That's all you're saying, Jones. Losing and losing.
Yeah, true.
One more thing for real. All right, so you survived our few of our favorite things segment. Now we're gonna move on to some pictures. And I need something about these pictures. These ain't no regular stuff that you can just find on Facebook just like that sitting there. You gotta do a little bit of digging and searching for these pictures. So I really need you to tell me what you were thinking in these pictures or what that moment was like.
You see, man, this is what I'm talking about. I know I was gonna do this to me.
When you signed the waiver to be on the show, it was in the contract.
I didn't sign no waiver. I didn't get a waiver shot. You gotta talk to Lorena about that one. I don't know what happened.
All right, let's check out this first picture right here. Tell me what you think about this. Give me 1 second. What's going on here?
Pitching Tacoma. That's in. Man, I can't remember. I can't remember where that was. I want to say that's in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken.
No, was this a strike or a ball?
Honestly. Strike, shot, strike. All day.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. See what we get for the next one. Is this your baseball card?
Yeah, baseball card, 2006. Yep. Inland Empires, 66ers, San Bernardino, California. Man, I look young. That's my second year. That was my second year in high A. You could see under the hat, you got my son name, Hassani. Then you have some names there written. That's some of my friends that passed away. You know, I have seen Corey written on it, you know. So yeah, man, good times in California. You know, I had a teammate, he lived in San Diego. So off days we would drive down to LA. He'd take me around, you know, see San Diego, you know, go to Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, you know, so a lot of fun in California, man. Love that place. Love that state.
That little description that you gave at the end just makes this picture even better than it was before. This is on your actual baseball card where you can see the names of people written that you care about under your hat. So like that takes it to a whole another level of being a great person. Honestly, like you didn't do this just to pitch in games. You had this picture taken to put on your baseball card. Like that's definitely something sensational.
Yeah, man. Always, man. And by the way, that year we won the California State Championship. Minor
now,
league.
how many of these cards do you have left?
Excuse me?
How many of these cards do you have left, or do you not have any more?
I don't have any more of this one. I have a bunch of the other ones, but not this one for some reason. Like I don't know what happened.
You might got reorder that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next picture.
Oh my gosh, Shaq. This is West Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee. That West Tennessee Diamond Jacks. I think it's a change in name too, by the way.
They changed the name.
Yeah.
No, was it when you were a starter or a reliever? You can't tell.
I was a reliever then. Man, I huge then. Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, but I was a reliever then. Those were some rough years in West Tennessee, man. Honestly, some rough years, man. I spent a lot of time in West Tennessee, like 4 different seasons. I was in West Tennessee, you know. I think I'm just looking at something. I know I wasn't in the game or anything. I just looking, you know.
All right, so let's move on to the next one.
Spring training. I got a little stash right there. Spring training. That was more towards my younger years, you know. So I'm just have my hand folding, watching something, and I kind of have a little smirk on my face, you know. Love spring training. Spring training was always fun. Our spring training is in Peoria, Arizona. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was always fun, man. You know, good weather in Peoria, in Arizona during them times. So during them times is in March. So good weather. Spring training, long days, Shaq. Long days in spring training, man. Boring and long days.
What was it like? I mean, being a professional baseball player is one thing, but to put on the jersey of the team that drafted you, the highest level of that organization, what was that moment like for you?
Man, it was a great moment, man. It was a great moment because, you know, you as a kid, you dream of, you know, you have a dream of playing in the NBA, baseball, you know, major leagues, you know, football, volleyball, wherever it is, you know, and for me to know where I came from. And, you know, we kind of touched on my journey and how I end up to where I end up playing professional baseball. Man, it was just amazing. It's just an amazing feeling, man. You know, get into, you know, rub shoulders and talking with Ken Griffey Jr., you know, Richie Sexton, a lot of the different major leaguers that came across, the Mariners, you know. So it was a great time, man. Great time. And still seeing a lot of other different major leaguers as well too, because, you know, you play against them in spring training, you know, and just be able to see it. You know, I pitched against some guys that I played against. I mean, that I watched on TV, Jermaine Dye, you know, Paul Konerko, some of those guys that I watched on TV, like I pitched against in spring training. So, you know, it's kind of like a dream come true, man. You know, satisfaction more towards my coaches and the people that helped me get to where I am today. You know, G Nix, Haywood. I got big up Renee James because she kept me out of trouble in complex because I was a bad kid going into complex. So she kept me out of trouble because I used to hang with them, her and Jamelia Henry. That's why we have such good relationship and good friendship. So big up to them, you know, as well too.
Now, do you have any more Mariners or Rays gear still in the garage?
Nah, I have one of my jerseys got lost. That was being sent to Genix, and then my other baseball jersey, Coach Dean Haywood have my jersey. You know, they have the Mariners. They have my name on the back, Rivera, and Coach Haywood have one, and the other one is missing, man. You know, so those two guys was big influences in my life. Genix, you know, teaching me the game of baseball, and then Coach Hayward, you know, just teaching me life, and you know, always being a friend to me, father figure, coach, you know, someone I could always talk to, you know, and I always kept it honest with me. So no Mariner gears, man. I gave away all my gloves and everything. So
we're gonna move on to the next picture now. This mid stride here.
Yeah. That's 2008. That was probably my best season. One of my best season in minor leagues, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2008. Yep. I got no. Yeah. 2008. Yeah. The year before, 2007, I was in West Tennessee. I was in Tennessee too, and I had a bad year. And then that's the year when I got sent up to Tacoma. That's when he said, "Hey, you know, you did it, Mumba. You know, don't change it, don't lose it." That was the year. No. You could see the Harachi spikes, Kobe Bryant. So I was bigging up Kobe. So
no, this picture, was this AA?
Yeah, AA.
All right, let's move on to the next picture. Now, who is this next to you?
This is Rob Johnson. I mentioned his name earlier. Rob Johnson, catcher. He's from Montana. Cowboy boots, Shaq, tight blue jeans, Wranglers, cowboy hat. He wanted to wear no collar short, but you have to wear collar shorts to come to the ballpark, and he did not. He had the same collar short every day. He was a straight cowboy dude, but, you know, nice guy, man. Me and him had a good relationship. He called me Merge. I don't know what he called me Merge. It was a Montana thing. I don't know what it was, but he told me it was, they call people Merge up there because if he was like a bad ASS, they call you Merge. And he was like, man, Mumba, you a bad ASS, so you are Merge. So if you hear me call you Merge, you know why. So he was a good dude, man. And that's the thing about baseball, Shaq, man. I got some great relationship with people that I never thought I would have relationship with, man. You know, people from Taiwan and Japan, like real good relationship with Shaq, man. Like they admire me, you know, I admire them. We had deep conversations. We talk about life. We talk about my culture. We talk about their culture, you know, and we just, it was good times, man, you know. So I had a mustache, embarrassed to see that picture now. Shaq had a great year that year too, by the way. I went 7-0 that year, and then I got sent up to San Bernardino.
Wow.
Yeah, 7-0.
Good season.
Yeah.
It's great.
Let's move the All-Star team. Yeah.
Move on to the next picture. Yeah, that's a nice job. Yeah, like this one here.
Shaq, man, you're killing me, Shaq, with these pictures, man.
I'm looking.
You said a what?
It's an interesting one here.
Yeah, I'm looking at somebody in the stands, and I'm kind of like giving a look. I have something in my hand. I covered in a towel, and I cannot remember what it is, man. I think I'm hiding something. I think I was going to play a prank on somebody, and I'm hiding it from somebody. Because that's one thing about me, Shaq. I used to do a lot of pranks in the minor leagues. I used to have fun. I used to do a lot of pranks. So
this is actually a great jersey. I love the green that matches the Mariners, and then the Mariners patch on the side, of course. So definitely a great jersey here.
Yeah. Everybody loved that jersey too, Shaq. All the players that love that jersey, they always used to want to play in that jersey. Probably
the good luck one.
Yeah, good luck one. That's true.
All right, let's move on to the next picture.
So this is my final season. This is in independent baseball, and Camden River Sharks. Big up to Ryan Joseph. Big up to Amira Joseph. You know, good friends of mine. I know them from since I was in elementary. Ryan Joseph was one of my former teammates in Little League and in Complex. They lived in Philadelphia at the time. I was in Camden. I used to always go over the Ben Franklin Bridge. I spent time in Philadelphia hanging around, walking around the city, just enjoying life. That was at home. I made sure my last year to put my first name on my jersey. I always wanted to do it, and I did it there. So that's why you see Mumba.
All right, so this is probably your favorite jersey because it's red and white. This is my favorite.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
Red aspect, would you actually be able to see the name on the back? with your first name on the back, unlike what we usually see where we have the last name on the back.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to our final picture here.
Man, Shaq.
It is deep.
This is in Las Vegas in 2007. Las Vegas 2007, I want to say. Yeah, 2007. We are playing the Cubs. This year, Shaq, I traveled with the Major League team, flying the private plane. We went to San Francisco to play the San Francisco Giants. That was I want to say Barry Bonds last season, so we get to play against the San Francisco Giants. Get to see Barry Bonds up in person. Play against the Major League team. I didn't play because I pitched the day before in a Major League spring training game, so I was down. And then after that, we flew to Vegas to play 2 games against the Chicago Cubs. So that was me signing autographs to that little kid. And you can see he's so happy. And you can see that kid in that Dodgers hat. He pissed off. He looked like.
That's amazing. That moment for you had to be something special. Somebody wants your autograph. Like growing up, you wouldn't think that you're gonna be somebody that influential, that somebody wants you to sign a piece of paper for them or sign a glove for them. So I know that moment for you was something big, especially for somebody who likes to give back to their community and give back to people in general.
100%, Shaq. 100%, man. You know, it was amazing, man, because I was on the team. You got Ichiro Suzuki, just all the top the major league players for the Mariners and some minor leaguers. You know, we had a chance to hang with those guys and, you know, signing autographs and the kids them screaming your name and yelling out your number and saying, hey, you come here, you know, because they feel like you're like one of those guys. They feel like you're a major league player, you know, because you're with the major league team, you know. So I was just signing autographs. And Shaq, that's one thing I always did, man. I always signed every kid autographs as much as I could, man, unless, you know, the bus had to leave or stuff like that, man. You know, because that's one of the greatest feelings for a kid to get autograph from a professional baseball player. So that's one thing I definitely took pride in. You know, I always sign it. Even when I had bad games, Shaq, give up grand slam to end game, winning run score, and the home team cheering, and I'm walking, want to throw my glove in the stands, and you see kids asking for my autographs. I had to swallow my pride, and I had to sign autographs because at the end of the day, it was bigger, you know. So.
Definitely. All right, so we get you a picture of the wine too bad, or a little hair there. Catch you off, got a couple of them.
True.
But that was good. I like that. Now we opening the live to questions from the viewers. We have some that had questions from earlier that we just saved for you to answer right now. So we're gonna try to get them to you as best as possible. All right. So one of the first questions was: are there any Virgin Islanders, which is VI or BVI, on your AAU travel team?
No, none on my team. None on my team. We don't have, and we don't have any. We have a Virgin Islander here, but I think he's a senior coming up, and he plays on one of the top teams. I can't remember the name, but he plays on one of the top teams. So we definitely won't have him. But we don't have any. We don't have any. Another
question was: do you only work with boys, or do you work with female basketball players that need to network as well?
No, I just work with boys. When I volunteer coach because we have a young lady by the name of Chantel Cooper. You guys might know her, Chantel Cooper. She works at the Junior Magic facility, the Meadowwoods Rec Center, and that's where I volunteer coach. She's from St. Thomas. I think she went to Charlotte Amalie, if I'm not mistaken, or I think she went to a private school. I gotta ask her, but she's from St. Thomas. She graduated high school there. She works there, so I volunteer coach. I do girls. I volunteer coach girls, and I volunteer coach boys. You know. Oh, she went to Antilles, yeah. So she went to CHS and Antilles, and I volunteer coach girls there and boys. But if any girls need, you know, opportunity to play on a team, like I have rubbed shoulders with a lot of coach, you know, I could talk to them and get the opportunity where they could come up and maybe play in a tournament, in a showcase, etc. So, you know, it's there.
What words do you have for real dual sport athletes like yourself?
To take both sports serious, be dedicated 100%. Don't put one sport over the other. I think that's one of the mistakes I made is that I put basketball over baseball. So, you know, but I still was able to make it in baseball. But just give eSport 100%. Be a student of the game. Be a student of the game. Have a relationship with your coaches. Have a relationship with your coach. Ask questions. Work hard. Reach out to people, not just your coach, not just your parents, but reach out to other athletes. Sometimes other athletes have, advice that could hit you the right way that some coaches or parents can't hit you. But be 100% and be dedicated, and take pride in being a dual sport athlete, man, because you just never know which one is going to give you that opportunity to be successful and have a scholarship and, prepare you in a good way in life.
And look, like you said, look what it did for you. You kind of somewhat shied away from baseball at some point, but baseball ended up taking you further than you thought. That was your second sport because you played basketball first with your mom. So again, it shows how being a dual sport athlete can actually affect your life and how you can actually end up playing the other sport rather than the one that's probably your favorite.
That's true.
Which sport did you like the most and why? This is from Renise James, by the way.
Big up to Renise James. That's my sister. That's my sister. Good friend. I liked basketball more because I could have just gone and play anytime. It was just the competitiveness, just that, that determination, the competitiveness, the back and forth, the quickness of the game. So that's why I love the game more. But I was just, and unfortunately, I didn't want to accept it as a kid, but I was just way better. I was way better in baseball, 100 times better in baseball, 100 times easily. So,
what pitching tips do you have to share from Renise James as well?
Pitching tips. So, most important thing about pitching, and this is what hurt me in my career, was control. Being able to control the baseball, being able to hit both sides of the plate, being able to hit up in the zone, down in the zone. If you want to miss outside, if you want to miss in the dirt, to change the eye level. So most important thing is control. Being able to focus on hitting both sides of the plate. That's the most important thing. If you're going to throw strikes, you are going to play. Coaches do not like pitchers throwing ball, walking people. The thing that made me last so long in the minor leagues too is the fact that I had a strong arm. I was athletic, and I was just I was a good person and a good leader. But my arm is what saved me and made me play so many years. But throwing strikes, man, learning a change up from young. If kids is under 12, focus on fastball, focus on change up. You could probably try and learn a cutter, but do not throw any curveballs. It's going to affect your arm. It's going to affect your arm. So focus on fastballs and change-ups. Focusing on balance, focusing on transferring the weight, making sure all the weight is on your back foot. Make sure you're pushing off gradually, not jumping and just jumping. You want your delivery to be nice and smooth. Baseball delivery, a pitcher delivery is like life. It's all about balance. You want to be in control of yourself. Most important part about the delivery is your midsection, your core. So you always want to have your core strong, and that's the center of your body. That's the most powerful part of your body. So you just want to be under control and be under control of your delivery. And run a lot. Long toss a lot. You don't want to be throwing the ball up in the air. You want to be throwing the ball like if you're throwing the ball to a base or you're throwing the ball to a plate. And you want a long toss. Most important things about pitching. And if you could do that, you definitely will be successful 100%. I learned a lot from my pitching coach. I had great relationships with my pitching coach. So I know a lot about pitching. So if anybody have pitchers and they want to contact me, you guys could contact me anytime. I know ups and downs about pitching. I'm in contact with a lot of major league pitching coaches as well too. So if I need to fall back on some advice, I could fall back on some advice I relate to you guys.
All right, question from Jason Page.
They got Jason. That's my college teammate out of Rock City. Good friend. I admire him a lot.
How was the transition going from a starter to a relief pitcher?
It was different because as a starter, I used to pace myself a lot. It's all about pace and controlling the game. Sometimes you will see a hitter, three, depends how you pitching. You might see a hitter twice or three times or maybe like 5 times because you might be walking out of people again, your brains kick in and your coach leave you in. So it's all about adjustments. You got to be able to, as a starter, you got to be able to remember how you got that guy out because it's a chess match, He might be swinging at the first pitch. He might be taking. You got to know if this guy takes a lot. You got to know what type of hitter he is. If he's a power hitter, if he's a slap hitter, if he's a speed guy, if he likes to hit the other way, if he likes to pull the ball early in the count, if he likes to hit the other way early in the count, late in the count, what he like to do. Is he a free swing on a 3-0, 2-1 count, a 1-0 count? or you just never know. So with a starter, you got to remember all that is a scouting report. As a reliever, you're in for a batter, you're in for an inning or maybe two, and it's all about you just attacking the hitter, giving everything you got because you just in for a certain amount of time. So a reliever, it was more of like a basketball player, just intensity, just attacking, giving your best stuff.
Jason also pointed out that you forgot about Ryan Brown in college.
Yeah, we played against Ryan Brown in college. That's true. University of Miami, when we went to the regionals, we went to the regional tournament and we played against Miami. Amazing. He's probably the best college player we ever saw. Ryan Brown. Amazing. Yeah.
Another question from the viewers. Monet Barnes, what was your proudest moment in your career?
Love you, Mona. Big up to you. My proudest moment was just making it because it shows the impact my coaches had. You got to think about it. Think about Genix coaching me from 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And then I switched to baseball. I had a conversation with him. He didn't like it, but he always tell me, keep playing baseball, Mumba. And then I went over to D. Haywood, basketball, and they had major impact in my life. And just their guidance, their principles, their determination, their strict behavior just got me to where I'm at, And that's my proudest moment, that the fact that a basketball coach and a baseball coach out of the Virgin Islands that they never played professional sports got me to college and got me to professional baseball. That's my proudest moment. If it wasn't for them, I would definitely make it. I'd never make it, not even to college.
All right. Kerry-Ann Shepard asks, did you play basketball in college as well? And did you consider playing basketball professionally?
Okay, this is funny. So I got redshirted my freshman year in college. The coach wasn't happy. Then I got drafted, came back my second year. The coach got fired. And then the new coach heard I was a basketball player. So he asked me to play basketball. So I ended up playing 2 games in college. And then my coach said, I can't play. It's in my contract. I'm under the Devil Rays. They have my rights. They don't want me playing basketball. So I only played 2 games in college basketball. I had 2 good games, so I couldn't play anymore.
That's a drastic shift from coming out to high school saying, I can play college basketball. You end up playing 2 games of college basketball and 1,000 more games of baseball. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'll to add on with the professional. Here in Orlando, I played at the same rec center I talked about, Chantel, the workout. So when I retired, I took 2 years off, to be a dad for my son and then my daughter because I missed a lot of time playing baseball. I would go and play basketball. And then I was playing against this guy named Sammy Mejia. He got drafted in the NBA. He plays professionally overseas. Amazing basketball player. So I would play in the gym with him, man, and I would guard him. Amazing. He would kill me. But a couple guys asked me if I'm interested in playing professional basketball. But I was already like, nah, I'm done. I'm going to be a father and everything, So I had opportunity to try it all, but nah.
Now, what do you think the outcome would have been for you at that age, at least?
You know what happened, Shaq? I would have got hot and then I'd be right back in Orlando. That's what would have happened.
Age would have catch up.
Yeah, age would have catch up. They like the way I play defense and stuff like that. I don't know what would have happened, but I think I would have got hot probably because I did get hot. I tore my ACL last year, so yeah, playing basketball. Yeah.
All right, Sherry Myers, what advice do you have for young athletes to help them transition when they are going abroad to compete at the next level?
The most important thing is we want the athlete's home has to get in contact with players that been there, that experience it. Experience is the most important thing because you could teach the kids them things that they don't know that you learn along the way. And then once you could teach them that they could get a head start. If I knew what I knew now, I would have definitely focused on pitching. I would have focused on being a better shooter because that was my downfall as a basketball player. Should have definitely focused on being a better shooter. I think people have talked about like how if we have a 6'5" kid, they'll put him to play center, but he's a guard. So that's a perfect example. Like you got a 6'5" guy, teach him how to be a shooting guard, teach him how to be a point guard, teach him how to be a a small forward. Same thing with baseball. Find their what they're good at and stick to it, and that's what you focus on. And get in contact with former professional athletes, contact with former college athletes and stuff like that. You know, build a relationship with them. I think Lorena said we I know what show we was talking about, and I think she said like a pen pal. Have pen pals where they could call you or talk to you if they're struggling about something. This is what you need to work on. We could teach kids some of the exercise they could work on to build the little muscles in their arm and stuff like that to prevent injury. You know, some of the exercises, some of the running, what to work on. You know, like a pitcher, you want to work on a lot of explosive drills and long distance running, because when you work on explosive drills, it works on the fast twitch muscles. Because with pitching, it's a slow delivery and then it's explosive. So you got to have that explosiveness. So that's where the explosive running comes in. Nice 10-yard burst, 8-yard burst, and then long distance running to build your stamina, to drain all the bad blood out your arm and stuff like that for pitching. So, you know, stuff like that, man. So definitely get in contact with players that have been there. You know, it could definitely help the kids a lot, man. It give them a head start. They could learn a lot more that way.
All right. Final question is from none other than Renice James. What advice would you give regarding the importance of your approach to practice as it relates to being focused?
Practice. The most important thing, man. One of the most important thing is practice, because it's like you prepare yourself for the game. It's like all the mistakes. No, I could say like you develop muscle memory. You develop muscle memory, and you gotta take practice like it's a game. If it's basketball, baseball, volleyball, you gotta go 100. You gotta go 100, because when the game come, the adrenaline, you know what I'm saying, it takes it to another level. Stuff that you don't think you could have do, like throw harder, you throw harder. You think you could have run faster and jump higher, you could jump higher. A lot of people say like, man, you know, I try and dunk in practice, and then I go in the game and I went for a layup and I was all over the rim. It's the same thing. Like, give it 100%, focus, ask questions, pay attention, and also do a lot of foreshadowing. That's one thing I did a lot. I used to foreshadow a lot that I was being successful in the game. It didn't happen all the time, but foreshadow a lot. Even before practice, start visualizing you having success. You know, if you're in basketball practice and this kid is always, you know, winding up on you, before you go to practice, visualize yourself having success against that guy, and take that approach, you know. And that's the thing, man. Focus, practice, ask question, build a relationship with your coach. You know what I'm saying? Learn from your mistakes. Focus.
All right. Mumba, you did a great job on the show today. We were glad to have you on. I learned a lot of stuff about you that I did not know. All right. Definitely, I'm sure our student athletes that are headed in high school and college learned a lot too. Just about being a person outside of being an athlete. Definitely did a great job. One thing I do want you to do before you leave is I want to big up the Elite Podcast first of all, because you guys are doing a great job. And one thing I can say definitely from Livewire to the Elite Podcast, you guys definitely do support us. So we are glad to support you guys as well. So I want you to advertise the Elite Podcast right here. Tell us what it's about. Tell us when you guys have shows, even your next guest.
So the Elite Podcast is, you know, I talked about my coaches, you know, and they had a major impact in my life. So I always try to find ways to honor my coaches, man. And, you know, and those are my coaches, and everybody have different coaches that had impact in their life. You know, we have Richie. Richie talked about his coach impacted his life, you know. So I created the podcast, man. It's just to honor the athletes that came before us, and just give them a chance to tell this story, so their legacy could live on, you know, so their family could see it, their grandkids, their great grandkids, and their great grandkids can not just hear about them, but they could actually hear about them. They could hear their voice, they could see them, you know, and they could be like, man, he looked just like me, and they could be like their seventh grandchild, however, you know, you just never know. So, you know, our coaches really sacrifice a lot. Athletes really sacrifice a lot of time, man. They go through a lot of stuff. They go through a lot of adversity. You know, we had a lot of athletes, and they had a lot of bad experience, man. So we just give them a chance to tell their story, so future athletes go see, like, when you go through tough time and face adversity, you know, don't hold your head down. You know, keep your head up and they could always probably reach out to some of those individuals as well. We also highlight, young athletes too that did their thing as well too, man. We want to show love and give love to all the athletes and all the individuals, man. And we definitely gonna branch out to like business owners and stuff like that, man. We just want to show love for everybody, man. The most important thing is that once we stick together, a lot of good things will happen, and it's definitely gonna benefit the island and benefit everybody else. Same thing what you guys doing. You guys doing a great thing. You guys focusing on the school and the student athletes. We focusing on the more of the older generation, and it's like we piggybacking on each other, and we come in full circle. We have the older generation, you have the younger generation, and they all gonna meet in the center. It's the center, and the center is the foundation of everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said, like, we have Carlos Hawkins coming up next. He went to Delaware State, one of the top basketball players in my time, along with Cobalt Victor, so we have him coming up tomorrow, 7 p.m. And then we have the great Kevin Shepard coming up on Sunday, as well, too. So we usually on Sundays and Wednesdays, and I'm always willing to change a day for an individual to accommodate them. I always like to be versatile and make it comfortable for the individual. So I will do a show on Monday, or I will do a show on Thursday. You guys are on Tuesday at 7 p.m., so I will never do a show on Tuesday. If I have to do a show on Saturday, I would. If I do a show on Friday, I would for that individual. I'll do whatever it takes for that individual, because I want them to be definitely satisfied and comfortable. And at the end of the day is to make their family happy and be proud of them, And same thing with you guys, man. You guys are the sports center of the Virgin Islands. That's why I say you guys are ahead of your time. Hopefully one day that you guys could be a cable, you guys could have like a network, like the Livewire network in the Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands, where, they could go to that channel and you guys have a lot of different stuff going on, man. So hopefully that could happen for you guys. You guys are ahead of your time. So big up to you guys as well, too.
Thank you, Derek. We definitely appreciate that coming from Livewire. And again, we love the Elite podcast. And the interesting part about these two podcasts basically is that whenever you on, we watching. Whenever we on, you watching. So it's just like genuine love between the two podcasts. And definitely we want you guys to check out the Elite podcast. He said that's Wednesdays and Sundays, most of the time at 7 p.m. Where can they find your podcast? Is it only on Facebook or is it anywhere else?
Facebook and YouTube. We have a V.I. Legends, and that's just that's for the future. That's where, like, how technology is, Shaq. I'm not 100 years later, if YouTube is still around, that channel gonna be there. Kids could go and look at the history of the VI sports and the VI legends and in business and all kind of different aspects in life, man. So that's why I created for, man, for everybody to just go back. And it's not just for us, it's for the family and stuff like that, to be proud of their family and the individuals, man. So YouTube, the episodes is always there, man. They could always go and watch it. If a kid if it's Black History Month or VI history and they need to write a paper and somebody, they could always go to YouTube and pick a person, watch the episode, some of them long, and they could write a report. They could write something on them. So that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. And we would definitely love to have you guys out. We talked about it, but we got to get Livewire on the podcast too. So the whole team. And then we still got to get Lorena on too. So
listen, that book reporting you just said now just amazed me. I never thought of it that way. And that's definitely a unique way to think about listening to a podcast. You can do, like you said, a paper about some of these great VI athletes that don't get a recognition that they deserve. So that just have me thinking now, like, how far like this sports thing can go in the Virgin Islands if we can write papers about people based off of this podcast, basically. So that's definitely a great idea. I hope somebody does that, actually, and that we can see this stuff like coming to fruition. Like, honestly, this is a great time for this whole internet process. It's not the best thing for sports right now, but the process that we're going through, where people are stepping out to their comfort zone and doing all the things that they can to stay somewhat relevant or reach audiences, is great.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true, and that's what is this something you guys doing? You guys gonna inspire kids in high school to maybe want to do what you guys do, and that's what it's all about. It's all about inspiring, man. We could inspire a lot of different ways. We use sports to inspire kids, but they don't have to be athletes only. They could do a lot of things. A kid might want to be a podcaster. You just never know. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what it's all about, Shaq, man. It's all about showing love to each other. We got to stick together. You know what I'm saying? You guys doing great things. We doing great things. And it's all about bringing everybody together, motivating people to do good things for the youths them. At the end of the day, it's all about the next generation. And it's all about the youths them, man. It's all about the youths. You know, all about the youths.
All right, so once again, Mumba, thank you for taking your time out to be with us here today. You guys, please tune into the Elite Podcast tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and Sunday as well. Again, thank you again, Mumba, for being on. Livewire fans, we will be back next week with more Between the Lines presented to you by Livewire Sports. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors, which is one is Livewire Sports. Also, want to give a shout out to Leo the Third Sibylle for our introduction song, which is called Born Ready. It is on all streaming platforms. And we also want to give a very, very big shout out to our visual introduction, which was done by brilliant photography. All right, so we definitely want to give a shout out to them as well. I know you guys love the new intro track. We love it as well. Want to give you guys a big shout out for doing that for us. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We will see you guys next week with more Between the Lines.
I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for born ready. Oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for born ready.